So what should be our expectations from the SCO, from this meeting and also in the long term? It's a pleasure to be joined by two of the sharpest thinkers whom I know of when it comes to strategic affairs and foreign relations. It's a great pleasure to be joined by former Foreign Secretary Mr. Kanwal Sibal, who's also been the former ambassador to Russia. Thank you so much, Ambassador, for joining us on this show. Also with us, Indrani Bagchi, CEO of the Ananta Aspen Center and a prominent foreign policy thinker. Thank you both so much for being with us. Now, clearly, these are interesting times. You've got the Chinese in town, the Russians are in town, the Pakistanis could be coming to town next week. All of this at a time when there have not really been too many contacts and too many relations with any of them. So a complicated strategic setup. Why don't I start with you, Ambassador Sibal? What would be your expectation from these meetings, the defense ministers meeting and then the foreign ministers meeting?
We are an Asian country. And this region is very important to us. We cannot afford to see this region under the control of China or Russia entirely, or the two of them. And we left out because in so many ways, we have very important interests there. We've had historically very good ties with Central Asian countries. They have been interested in reaching out to us in order to balance their own relationships, especially with China. They see a rising India, they want to be able to benefit from it. We have connectivity projects which would link India with these countries. We have to absolutely counter Pakistan's long efforts to keep us detached from this area and not give us access to it, because they see that if India increases its presence in this region, it'll be, from their point of view, at the cost of their geopolitical interests. But more importantly, Afghanistan is the centerpiece of many of these concerns in this region, especially terrorism, religious extremism. This is a concern for us, for the Central Asian countries, for Russia, and for China in its own way because of the Xinjiang and Uyghur issue. Therefore, we need to keep a tab on this.
Right, Indrani, if I can turn to you next. If you're looking at the dynamics out here, the Chinese in town, Pakistanis coming to town, what would be your overall expectations? Are the dynamics India, Pakistan, India, China, are they going to dominate this, or is there going to be something else?
If you remember, the Chinese foreign minister was here for the SCO for the G20 foreign ministers meeting, and he will be here for the SCO foreign ministers meeting. SCO, though, is literally run by China, because China is the dominant power in SCO. Russia may have started there. Russia is no longer anywhere in the reckoning, and Russia, because of the Ukraine war, has become too much of a subsidiary or a subservient partner to China, whatever their thinking may be, whatever their sentiments may be. The facts on the ground don't favor Russia. But to add to what Mr. Sibal just said, I'd say the other reason why this is an important year for SCO and why countries in the Central Asia are also looking to balance China and Russia is the Ukraine war, because the Ukraine war has not made them comfortable at all. Definitely not with where Russia is going with the war, and the kind of geopolitical fault lines that have been created, which puts a question on these countries as well. Not to speak of us, of course, but definitely on these countries as well. And they are right there at Russia's doorstep. If Russia suddenly decides to do another Ukraine in another country, then it's hard for these countries. And as Mr. Sibal said, Afghanistan remains a problem, and Afghanistan remains a problem not merely because the Taliban are back in Kabul, but the role that Russia plays in Afghanistan, the role that China wants to play in Afghanistan. Please remember that China has just apparently signed a $10 billion deal for a lithium mine in Afghanistan. That's, playing with fire in a very, very volatile area. The Taliban are back. The ISK is back. This is it's a region in deep flux.